Hi viewers, welcome to our channel today. In our channel, we deal mainly with the issues of agriculture, environment, and food security. I would like to invite our Kenyan citizens to be more interested in this channel than any other channel because we are dealing with food security issues which we depend on for our life. I know many Kenyans love politics. They love gossips. They love romantic issues which normally dominate in our media platform. But I urge you Kenyans, you also pay attention to issues related to food security because naturally you cannot eat politics, you cannot eat entertainment, you cannot eat romance. You need food and a clean environment so that you can enjoy those things that you enjoy socially. So today I would like to talk on a very important topic, and I would like to give an explanation or illustration how importing food is promoting climate smart conservation agriculture in the countries exporting food, but enhancing environmental degradation in the countries importing the food. Now, I would like to look at it from Kenyan context. Now, let's start from this. When the Green Revolution came, we rushed to it as the most reliable mechanism for increased agricultural production per unit area with either you take it or perish mindset. Now, many governments, including Kenya, typically encouraged green revolution through increased use of chemical agricultural inputs to meet the increasing demands for food of a growing population on the declining per capita land. But it came to be realized that fertilizer technologies, which was giving massive agricultural production in the past 3 decades, no longer do so. Now, this is because the soil organic matter and buffer capacity for nutrient cycling have declined significantly. Now, this is because of the substitution of the soil's internal biological functions for self-regulation with external chemical and market-driven manufactured inputs, leading to the loss of soil structural resilience, hence increased rate of land degradation. Therefore, the Paris Agreement 2015 cautioned all nations of the world that while we are addressing the food security issues, we need to maintain a positive balance between increasing agricultural productivity and environmental sustainability through judicious integration of the Green Revolution and climate smart conservation agriculture. Now, most countries of the world who are currently producing the food surplus to export took this caution in action, while Kenya took it in paperworks, which are exemplified in many well-written policy documents, which are currently warming shelves. Now, the two most relevant documents are National Agricultural Soil Management Policy and Kenya Climate Smart Agriculture Strategies. Now, the National Agricultural Soil Management Policy document raised the key concerns. Now, these key concerns, if goes unaddressed, in other words, if they are not addressed, it means that our system allows land degradation to continue to cause decline in land productivity so that we continue to have food deficit in order to give us the opportunity to import food from those countries which have adopted climate smart strategies to enhance their primary production for export market. So in other words, we are giving these people opportunity to export to us what they have produced through conservation efforts. That means that lack of conservation effort means allowing land degradation to continue so that we can import more food to close the gaps, which are we call looming food security gaps. Now, the key issues which are raised in this policy or the concern are many Kenyan farmers are getting less than 25% of their potential yield despite the increased agricultural inputs. This is due to increased soil structural deformation and acidification. The second concern is that over 75% of the existing irrigation schemes surveyed are grinding to a halt because of lack of knowledge of appropriate technologies to deal with the problems being created by inefficient irrigation practices. The third concern is the soil quality has diminished to a point of no return, and hence the soil has become major source of pollutants, creating unfavorable conditions for biodiversity, hence increased loss of productivity and ecosystem functions and services. Now, to address the outlined concern, the Kenya government came up with Kenya Climate Smart Agriculture Strategies to address the key strategic issue, namely vulnerabilities due to unsustainable natural resource management, with a strategic objective of mainstreaming sustainable natural resource management into agricultural production system to enhance resilience of crop, pastoral, and fish farmers. Now, the first activity to address this objective is to do something which will enable us to achieve this objective. And this is to establish the baseline status of land degradation in relation to the existing natural resources and management practices, so that we prioritize area for intervention and we know exactly what we are going to intervene in which area. Now, in this case, soil is a key natural resource because its quality is the integrated effect of management on its properties that determine agricultural productivity and environmental sustainability. Now, the soil survey section, which is in charge of soil resources inventory, management, and monitoring, is today an empty shell. We only have the GIS section and lab, but there is no expert because all of them have retired without replacement. Now, what does that show? It shows the reluctance of the system to do what is actually outlined in the climate smart agriculture strategy. Because the key issue there is to address unsustainable natural resource management, which is responsible for the increased rate of land degradation. So if the unit within your system, which is in charge of carrying out the inventory of this area, is as retired without replacement, it shows that the system is unwilling to address land degradation issues, to give them the opportunity to import food from those countries which are doing climate smart agriculture. Now, let us try to justify this statement. If you look at the climate strategies, it was developed solely by the government of Kenya. And the government of Kenya, in its executive summary, in that strategic climate smart agriculture, has indicated that the major contributor to the ineffective implementation of the climate smart agriculture is the weak policy enforcement. So that's actually self-confirmatory. That is what has been implemented in that document, the weak policy enforcement. So if there is weak policy which has been implemented, that explains why we are having increased rate of land degradation and continuous food decline. Now, in this case, you ask yourself a question: who gains and who loses? The country which has opted to support agricultural production through organic-based climate-smart conservation, or the country which has opted to address the looming food security gaps through avoiding long-term strategies to import the food produced through conservation effort. Which is which? So ask yourself that question, and I would like to encourage our viewers to subscribe and continue with this channel, because in the next video, I'm going to give evidence of the country's deliberate negative attitudes that cause increased rate of land degradation. And I will start with arid and semi-arid lands, flood-prone lowlands, and poor performing irrigation schemes. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so. And in these lessons, we are going to learn what to do. You know, the problem is that the person suffering is not the government. The person suffering is you. So you listen and take something to your farm. Because if you are hungry, you are the one who is suffering. You are the one who is dying of hunger, not the government. The government are people who are in the offices and they are actually executing policy, which sometimes there is lying with them in their shelves, and they are getting their salaries and everything. So you, as a farmer, you as a citizen, you should understand what are the opportunities for you to support your sustainable agriculture, because this is agriculture country. Our economy is based on agriculture. Thank you for listening today.